So the bring your own device trends, which in summary is businesses deciding that it's actually in their best interests not to give their employees a device to use, but to let their employees bring the mobile devices in and support those devices, has introduced a number of complexities to IT. It used to be I could build a capability, let's say on a BlackBerry device or a Symbian device, and that's all I'd support, and I'd put it on the devices I gave my employees, and it'd be very targeted. Now I have to take that same capability and make it available on iPhone, on Android, BlackBerry, on Windows Phone 7. And if I'm doing things natively, that means 4 development projects, all of which have to be coordinated. It becomes a much bigger effort. The costs literally go up by a factor of 4. So one of the problems with taking advantage of this technology these days is how can I avoid that problem? There's some technologies coming out like HTML5 which makes some incremental progress, but really doesn't solve the whole problem. It solves a nice piece of the problem for web-based deployments. But ultimately there are a bunch of other things that need to be addressed on those apps, whether it's security, manageability and maintainability, user authentication, a bunch of issues that pertain to giving people the ability to take these apps and deploy them comprehensively and to a wide range of people. Those things, if you have now 4 apps to build, you've got to address each one of those 4 times as well. And then finally, and probably one of the most important things that I think about is that most people think about what it takes to take their first app, to take an idea, build an app, and push it out. But the truth is that most benefit comes not from that first app, but from incremental improvements to that first app. And surprising as it may seem, once you've built 4 apps and pushed them out there, coordinating a small update becomes almost harder than the original app itself, because the change has to be made, it has to be integrated on each individual device, it has to be recompiled and retested on each individual device, and then you've got to coordinate the release of all those things so they happen at the same time. You don't want old versions working against servers that new ones are counting on, and vice versa. So one of the hardest problems is dealing with incremental changes. And the end result is that an environment where you have to be very nimble, because new devices are coming out all the time, new operating system updates are coming out all the time. These challenges can actually push you in the opposite direction and make you very, very slow and unresponsive. One of the classic complaints about IT is that IT is unresponsive to change. You know, I have an application. Can you just give me the phone number for the client on this screen here? And IT will say, sure, we'll put that in the request queue, and we should be able to get to it in the next 7 or 8 months. And, you know, the end users want to pull their hair out. But, you know, in mobility, that becomes less acceptable.